Hi, welcome back to This Week in MMA. I'm Nick.
And I'm Patrick.
And we got a lot of exciting things to talk to you about this week. First and foremost, Dan Henderson putting pen to paper with Strikeforce.
Big.
I'm excited.
Big move.
Yeah.
I'm excited too. I think this is a great. I think it's a great opportunity for Henderson. I think it's a great move by Strikeforce. There's a lot of very interesting matchups that are going to happen because of this.
Dan Henderson, he's a very versatile fighter. He fights at middleweight and light heavyweight. So, yeah, as a fan, I can't wait to see him slug it out with Gegard Musashi. I mean, I don't think there's any other fight I'm looking forward to more than that one.
What about Jake Shields?
Jake Shields, Jake Shields is a little small. Like, he's a small middleweight. And a lot of people are talking about a possible matchup against Fedor. So, you never know. It's definitely creates a lot of interesting matchups for Strikeforce and great news for fans, and also great news for fighters because finally they have a different option as far as organizations. They don't have to stick with the UFC when it comes to contract negotiation.
I think you said it right. Playing field is a little bit more even. Like now, they can go to Strikeforce and get a lot more coverage.
Absolutely, and I mean, Strikeforce is a small organization, so I don't think they can match the type of money the UFC can offer to its fighters. But they can't offer them CBS. They can't offer them 5, 6, 7 million viewers. And that matters to the fighter's sponsors,
And that was a key thing for Henderson. Like he has his own apparel line, and he's sponsoring himself. So he's definitely gonna get a lot more, a bigger audience viewing that and viewing his fights because of that. Yeah. And I also, I think this is a perfect time for him to make that move. He got a lot of momentum coming out of that Ultimate Fighter where he's the coach. When he knocked out Bisping with that huge knockout, I think it's a perfect time the UFC really dropped the ball here and let go of really good, strong main eventer.
And I gotta give props to Scott Coker for handling these negotiations so well, because all the interviews I read with him, all the interviews I hear with him, he just oozes respect. And I feel like that was a big point for Dan Henderson. He felt like he wasn't getting the respect that he deserved from the UFC.
Yeah, exactly. So when you talk about respect, that goes right into what happened with that. The most recent Ultimate Fighter finale, when we saw someone who had to fight for respect, and Roy Nelson win that competition.
He was the IFL champ, He fought guys like Arlovsky, Ben Rothwell, and when he entered the TUF house, it was kind of like a wolf entering a house full of sheep.
Yeah, you said it right, because here, guy, he doesn't look like them. He doesn't have a six-pack or anything. He has a big belly a little bit, but you know what? He could fight. He's a really good stand-up. He has a good, strong ground game, and what we saw is he was a guy who, just like Kimbo Slice, was passed over by the UFC and had to go into this competition as this is his only way he would get a contract.
Speaking of Kimbo Slice, he also fought in the Ultimate Finale against Houston Alexander and won. But that fight left me less than impressed, and I'm not so much disappointed with Kimbo because I was a fan of Kimbo, even back in his Elite XC days. He is who he is as a fighter. I don't blame the man for making a paycheck to feed his family. My problem is more with Dana White. A year ago, Dana White was calling Kimbo a no good bum that doesn't belong in the UFC. And you know what, to a certain extent, I agree with him because I don't think Kimbo's a UFC level fighter.
When you're looking at Kimbo Slice, you need to adjust your expectations. And with Kimbo Slice, you have a guy who he beat Alexander. Alexander, he's no slouch. Like he has 8 years of experience. He has a win in UFC. I mean, Kimbo Slice is never going to be a contender in the heavyweight division. I mean, his knees are horrible. Pathetic ground game. So he's never going to be a contender. But at the same time, he brings in huge ratings. His past 2 fights went over 5 million people watching it. He has a place in UFC, not at the top, but I think it'd be a great asset for them.
Yeah, Dana, stop talking shit about Fedor and Brett Rogers for praising Kimbo. It's not cool. Now, what is cool is the upcoming UFC card, UFC 107, which features a main event of BJ Penn defending his title against Diego,
Mr. Crazy,
the Nightmare Sanchez.
That's it out loud. I didn't mean to say that. I'm sorry.
I watched the Countdown show on Spike, and Diego, something's not right with that dude. But he's an exciting fighter,
He is an exciting fighter. I mean, I think it's gonna be an exciting fight against BJ Penn. I don't see Diego being able to take BJ Penn down or even striking with him too well. I think BJ Penn, he gets some good distance. He's able to get that jab in. I think it's gonna be a long night for Diego.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you in that department. I just don't see any way Diego can beat BJ unless BJ comes into the fight unfocused or something. Maybe he wasn't training that hard.
It still could happen. Like on paper, it's possible for Sanchez to win this.
The fight I'm more excited about is the Frank Mir against Chet Kongo.
Oh, that's my guy. I love Chet Kongo.
That's going to be an exciting fight simply because, for one, Mir, he's been talking shit about everybody ever since Brock mashed his face in. I think he knocked a couple of screws loose up there, First of all, he's obsessed with Brock.
Yeah,
he's put on like 20, 25 pounds of muscle. He started weight training, and, when Brock got sick, Mir said, "Oh, I got depressed because I didn't think I would be able to fight him again."
He's a little upset. He's a big trash talker, and my problem with it is really not so much just a trash talk. I feel like he's looking past Kongo to a certain extent. And Kongo, like I said, he doesn't have a very good ground game, but what he does have is excellent striking ability. So Frank Mir needs to be on his game and try to take down Kongo.
So who are you picking for that fight?
I really want to go with Kongo. I really want to go with Kongo, but I gotta go with Frank Mir. I mean, come on.
I agree with you to an extent that I think Frank Mir is the better fighter, but I'm gonna predict with my heart on this one, and I'm just gonna be waiting for Kongo to load up that right hand and just put it through Mir's face, and hopefully Humble can do it.
I wish it happened. I wish Kongo just knocks him out.
Speaking of Brock Lesnar, some update on his recovery process. He's actually doing a lot better now. He's walking around. He's doing a little bit of light training, nothing serious. He's spending time with his newborn child also. But I think this is a good note to end our show on. So thank you for tuning in. We hope to see you again next week. And
looking forward to it. Hopefully,